Okay, I just started recording. Okay. And then if someone misses it for maybe through no fault of their own, they can watch it later. But I think it's better to be live. It's kind of nice to be live and get connected a little bit. It's one of the reasons I like doing the Zooms, because this is our best way to get connected a little bit, who we are and whatever. If you have questions at any time, you can do one of two things. You can either unmute yourself and ask, or you can put it in the chat. Now, if you put it in the chat, I probably won't get to it right away, because oftentimes when I'm opening different windows and doing things, I don't see the chat window at that moment. I'll always go back and check it at some point. But if you put it in the chat, I get to it till the later part of the Zoom. And the Zooms are going to vary. If I have enough material, things to cover, they could be half hour, but most of the time they'll be shorter. Today's not going to be real long. It's got a few things I want to cover briefly, especially since probably most of you, or at least some of you, were here yesterday. And if you weren't here yesterday, the recording is in the stream. But I do want to just review real quick here. I'm going to open up the class page. So there it is right there. Whoops. There it is. I had several windows open, so one of my other windows was on top of it. Just to remind everybody, or those that are new today, the way I use Google Classroom is the stream, which is what you usually see first when you go to our page, is for announcements and Zoom links and things like that. I don't have mine set to put the assignments there. So the assignments are under classwork. Some teachers have it set so every time they post an assignment, it puts something in the stream, but I don't do that. Okay, but it is very important. You check the stream, scroll down, make sure you've read all the announcements and all the information, because there is important information, and I assume you read it. Okay, it can also, quite frankly, make your life easier, because a lot of times I put tips or information or stuff in there that can be quite useful. Here's yesterday's Zoom meeting. Now, often after a day or two, if I see them, I'll delete these. I just leave them up for, when we use it. I'll get them out of the way so they don't clutter up our stream. Now, the other important place to check is classwork up here at the top. And I'm always going to leave this at the top. And if you're not real familiar with Google Classroom, watch some of these videos. There's one on submitting assignments. There's one for students. And if your parents want to be part of it and be part of Google Classroom, which they can, they got a place there for guardians and parents to join. This is a video be for them. Student handbook I just put there in case you ever want to look at for some reason, and my contact information. Now, this phone number here can be texted. Last semester, probably 2/3 of the students I was in touch with over assignments and that use this number to text me. Okay. Calling is kind of a waste because, I usually don't answer, and then texting would probably be better. Also, if you do text me, especially the first time, make sure you put your name in the text, because it'll come up as a number I don't know. So if you say something like, when is the next Zoom meeting, or whatever, I'm stuck on this assignment, can you help me? I won't automatically know who you are. Now, once we've texted a few times, I put your name in there with your phone number, so then I get to see it. In case you're curious, what is that phone number, Mr. Rio? Is that your personal number? And the answer is no. I use something called Google Voice, and it's connected to my personal number. I put it on my cell phone. I have an app. Anyone can get the Google Voice app. You can get the Google Voice app. Now, I set it up with a Google account I have that's not my school account. I suppose I could have set up the school account, but I chose to set it up with a different one. And it gives me a different number. And I can give you this number, and I can use the app. I open the app on my phone just like you would any other phone number. I can text people. I can call people, and it works great. And then I don't have to give out my personal phone number, which isn't that big of a difference because you're getting to my phone either way. Email's fine too. So my email's there. My Zoom information, as far as I know, almost always when I do Zoom, it comes up for this here. It's like I have my own Zoom room. But occasionally there's a chance that happened at least once last semester where it came up with a different one. I don't know, maybe I clicked something wrong. I'm not sure. But if you're not sure, you can always go here, but usually I'll post it in the stream, that's beforehand. This week, The first day info's here. So if you were not here yesterday, you can open that, just a PDF. It's not an assignment to do, it's just information. This is the syllabus. I talked about that briefly yesterday. Actually, I should probably mention a few things from it today. I'll go ahead and open it up here. Syllabus is, I think you guys are familiar what they are. They're just a document with information about the class in general. So we're going to be learning word processing. Okay, you're going to be typing things. Now, most of the time we do that, you're going to use Microsoft Word. Okay, Microsoft Word is kind of like the standard of word processors. It's got a lot more features than Google Docs, and it's part of what's called Microsoft Office or Microsoft 365. Okay, so we're going to be doing that. Now, we will be using Google Docs too, and I'll be covering the Google apps also. We're going to be looking at terms and vocabulary relating to computers, internet, and other technology skills and concepts. We're going to be learning about spreadsheets. And the main program we're going to use with that is another Microsoft Office program or Office 365, and that's called Excel. Excuse me here. My voice is a little dry here at school. Okay, so we got spreadsheets will be coming up, Excel. We're also going to be doing multimedia presentations using PowerPoint. We may do something in Google Slides, I'm not sure, but definitely we're going to be using PowerPoint. So we'll be covering that. We're going to be doing some digital media projects. Okay, what is that? What's digital media, Mr. Rio? It's going to include some video. We're going to make at least one video and upload to YouTube and share it. We're going to do at least like to do some kind of audio project. Now, some of these, I'm going to give you options. So if you want to do them on your phone or on your, if you have an iPad or something like that, or your personal computer or your school computer or whatever you can do them on. So you'll have some flexibility as to how you do that and even what software you use. You don't have to use, I'm not going to usually require one type of software because there's a lot of good ones out there you could use that, doesn't really matter. We're going to be talking about the internet and the World Wide Web and a lot of stuff about it, how to use it, how to do search, what it is, issues relating to it. We're going to talk about being a good digital citizen, not violating copyright rules and stuff like that. And, we're going to look at a bunch of videos about different topics in technology and careers in technology in terms and concepts and things on the horizon and how it's changing our lives. So the goal of this course is to have all the fundamental skills that we would want any student to have before they graduate Harper Creek High School in the area of computers and technology. So we're going to do the best we can to cover the basics. Okay. I kind of got it here by units. Starting next week, we'll be doing introductory terms. We'll be getting into the Google apps. We'll be looking at Google Drive. We'll be looking at OneDrive. And if some of that's new to you, they'll be coming up real soon and we'll explain it. I usually blend topics, so it's not uncommon. I don't really do nice, neat units where you're only doing one thing. For the kind of things we do, sometimes it's nice to do 2 or 3 different things at once. So in the same week, we might have some word assignments. We might have something you're doing with a video. You might have something else you're looking at or working on. So we do a variety of these kind of mixed up a little bit. Okay. Put some general tech websites up here. Some rules. Grading is going to be all points. Everything you do is for points. I do not at this time do points for Zoom sessions only because we're told that we can't require people to be at them because some people can't be there for valid reasons through no fault of their own. But I strongly encourage Zoom sessions. And off the record, here's what I'm going to tell you. Number one, I sometimes give tips and things that you can do that might make your life easier. Number two, when it comes to the very end, I'm doing those grades at the end of the semester, and you're close to the next grade, which might be an A or it might simply be passing the class. Okay. And if I'm like, oh, I know that person, they come to Zoom sessions, maybe not every one, but they, often come. That definitely would be a big positive thing. And I would think, oh, I definitely need to push this person up to the next grade level. I can't give them points, but I'm not hurting them by pushing them up a level in grade. So, that's where it can be helpful too. I put my contact information on here also. My playing time is second block. We're as of right now, I like this 2 o'clock time slot on fifth block. You might say, Mr. Rio, don't you have a fifth block if you got playing second block? Well, believe it or not, you guys are my fifth block. So since I don't have you in person, this is the block I'm officially signed to you. So I will focus on this block on this class. Okay. And even though this is an online only class, occasionally I'll give you options if you want to come in and work in the lab. You don't have to, there's no pressure to do it, but some people like to do that. They get some help from me and stuff like that. If you're using the school computer, what I've seen from other students that work on it, when they first look at the tiles and windows that are there when you got your computer, logged in, one of them says Office 365, I believe. And when I looked at it on a student computer, we clicked it, and it brought through a web browser to the online version of Office. That's the programs that include like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And we don't want to use the online version in most cases. We might use it for Excel; it might be okay, but we definitely don't want to use it for Word or for PowerPoint. And I don't even think it's really that good for Excel. So we want the real one. So you don't want the one that's on that first tile. You have to click the bottom left corner of your Windows computer. There's a little square. It'll bring up a list of all the programs on your computer, and Word, PowerPoint, and Excel should all be on there. That's your school computer. Now, many of you use personal computers, which is fine. You may have a Windows computer at home. You may have a Mac at home. And in either case, you're welcome to download Office 365. I put a little video here to go with it. And you can, download it and use the school login, and you can get it for free for your personal computers. You have to use the Harper Creek School login. And when you're going through the login, always select they'll have an option. It'll be like personal, or the other one will be like business, organizations, education, whatever. You always pick the one that's like business, organizations, education, whatever it might say. You don't pick the personal one. Okay. I also I made an assignment out of this. I want you to be a little bit aware of this. Even if you don't literally download Office 365, I do have a little assignment to go with this. So I put a link on here, something called about the Adobe Creative Cloud. I'll talk about that more another time, maybe Thursday. I put iCloud up here in case, any of you use Mac or Apple stuff, maybe because you have an Apple, iPad, or maybe you got a Mac, maybe you got something else, Apple phone. Put that there. Here's Office 365 assignment. So I say, did you watch the video? And I ask you a few questions about it and ask you about some of your experience. And if you're interested in the Adobe stuff, and I put at the end, do you use Apple computers, iPhones, or iPads? Check out the iCloud link. Even if you don't, I'd like you to click on the link and at least take a quick look at it. And, you can answer those questions too. Okay, so that should be pretty straightforward. I'm just going back here. Now, so for week one, there's not a lot here. We had the first day info, it's syllabus, install there. And this is student feedback about yourself. I didn't talk about this yesterday, so I'm going to talk about it right now. You click on it and open it up, and it's pretty straightforward. You put your name, and I ask you various questions. And then the first one is about what computers or devices do you have? It could be your phone, you have an iPad, what type of computers you got, and put down what you know. It's like a Dell, it's like a Microsoft Surface, it's a MacBook Pro, whatever it is that you may have. Internet at home. I'd like to know about your internet service. You have good internet service, no internet service, bad internet service, maybe what company you're going through, and hopefully everybody's got some type of internet service. And do you have access to Wi-Fi? That's the wireless. Now, we have the wireless here at school, so if you ever come into the school, you could say, I can at school. You may have it at home. You might have it if you go to a church or somewhere. But you can put on there where and when you have, access. I'm not going to go through all these because most are self-explanatory, but just ask you about what experiences you got in different tech areas, and then ask you about some of your other stuff like what sports or hobbies or future plans that you might have. Okay, and then there's some directions on submitting. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Okay, I'm back here. I'm just taking a quick look here offline. Okay, so there's not too much assignments there. And what there is there's, information about getting your stuff in. So it's very easy week this week. Now I'm going to show you just one other thing real quick and then we'll wrap it up. So everybody still there? Everybody, if anyone joined us late, my computer says it will expire soon every time I turn it on. That's a direct message I got from one of you. You have to contact Mrs.
That was me.
Yeah, I see it on there. You have to contact Mrs. Roseland. Do you know who she is? The help desk or whatever? Okay, stay on here after we're done, and I'll end the recording and talk to you about it, okay? Okay. Okay, I'm just going to share one last thing with everybody. Yeah, and this is something you may know, so we'll see. Okay, I'm sharing here. If you're just at Google, first of all, whatever web browser you use, I recommend bookmarking things you go to on a regular basis. And if you use Google Chrome, for example, you can set it in the settings so that, let's say you use Google Chrome over 2 or 3 different computers, you can have them so they all sync. So when you add bookmarks and things, it goes to all of them. Okay, what I'm going to just mention here real briefly, and you may know this, if you go at any of the Google pages, doesn't matter which one, I just happen to pick the search page, and you're logged in with your school account. There's mine right there. You can click on, I call this the waffle. See like these dots right here? You click on the waffle, and there's your Google Apps. Now, yours might be in a different order than mine. It might look a little bit different than mine, but you should find your classroom there, and YouTube, and Google Drive, and Docs, and Slides, and Photos, and all this stuff. So there's a lot of nice stuff here for you. Most of it's, I think most or all of it's free, especially with our Google license we have here at school. And if there's any of this that you like, some of it can be, dragged or shared out to your desktop or whatever. So we're going to be talking a lot about the Google Drive and Google Apps and all this kind of stuff. Just letting you know about that right now. So familiarize yourself with the stuff I covered so far. Get those couple little assignments done, which you may have done already. And that is pretty much it. I'll be back here Thursday. I'll post just like today about 10 to 2 the link. The one that what we just did here just now I recorded, so I'm going to turn that recording off right now. And then we'll say our goodbyes. And then Riley, you can stay on here with me.